Hi friends, welcome back to another video. So today I'll be explaining physics May-June 2013 paper 12. Question 1 states a student measures the length of a rod XY by holding it next to a meter rule. So over here we have the rod XY and the question states the student writes down the length as 94.8 centimeter. Which statement is correct? So over here first statement is the value is correct, which is wrong because the length of the rod at point Y starts at 94.8 and ends at 99.7, 5, 6 and 7, so 99.7. So the value is correct, which is wrong. Then B states the value is incorrect because it should be 95.2, which is also wrong because over here it's 94, then over here it's 95, so next should be 96, so over here it should be 95.2, not over here. This is 94.8, so question B, answer B is also wrong. Then answer C is the value is incorrect because it should be in millimeters, which is also wrong because the ruler is in centimeters, so it should be measured in centimeter. And then D is the value is incorrect because the student should subtract the reading for ny from the reading of nx. So answer D will be the correct answer, and so we will circle D as our correct answer. Question 2 states a heavy metal ball falls vertically downwards through air past 4 equally spaced levels J, K, L and M. So this is the 4 levels, level J, K, L and M. The time taken to fall from one level to the next are measured. Where is the speed of the ball greatest and which time is the shortest? So when the metal ball is released above level J, as starting the metal ball gains speed, and from L to M, which is the second last to the last level, the speed of the metal ball will be the greatest. So over here we will see L and M. Between L and M the speed is the greatest, and then second is the time is shortest between. So the time is shortest because at starting it takes more time to travel from J to K and then from K to L, but at the end from L to M the time taken is quick and it is in less time. It takes less time for the metal ball to travel from level L to level M, so the time is shortest between L and M. So D will be the correct answer, so we'll mark it as the final answer. Then question 3 states a car travels at various speeds during the short journey. The table shows the distances traveled and the time taken during each of the 4 stages P, Q, R and S. Stage is P, Q, R and S, and here is the distance traveled and time taken. So the question states during which 2 stages is the car traveling at the same average speed. So over here first we will calculate the average speed, which is distance traveled divided by the time taken. So over here it is 1.8 kilometers and 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes, so we will write 1.8 divided by 2 divided by 60, which will be, so over here 1.8 divided by 2 divided by 60 is 54 kilometers per hour. Then second is over here 3.6 divided by 2 divided by 60, which is 108. And then third one is 2.7 divided by 4 divided by 60, which is 40.5. and then the last one is 2.7 divided by 3 divided by 60, which is 54. So the stage P and S are the same, so we will circle answer B as the final answer. So this answer B will be the final answer because at P the average speed is 54 kilometer, and at S it is 54, also 54. So both are same, so P and S will be the correct answer. Then question 4 is two blocks of metal X and Y hang from spring balances as shown in the diagram. So over here we have the X on block X on the spring balance, and on the right side we have block Y on the spring balance. So question states, what does the diagram show about X and Y? A states they have the same mass and same volume but different ways, which is wrong. Then B is they have the same mass and same weight but different volume, which is correct because the size is different but the newtons is equal. Over here it's 3 newtons and on the right side it's also 3 newtons. So these both are equal, so they will have the same mass and the same weight but different volume, which will be correct. And then C is they have the same mass and the same volume and the same weight, which is also wrong. Then D is they have the same weight and the same volume but different masses, which is also wrong. So B will be the correct answer for question 4. Then question 5 is a student stands with both feet on some scales in order to measure his weight. The reading on the scale is 500 newtons. He lifts one foot off the scale and keeps it lifted. The new reading on the scale is 500 newtons because first he kept both feet on the scale and it measured 500 newtons. If he lifts one of the leg and measure the weight, it will still be the same because all the force is exerted on one leg and on the scale. So C will be the correct answer. Question 6 states a measuring cylinder containing a liquid is placed on the top and balanced. The apparatus is left overnight and some of the liquid evaporates. The diagram shows the reading. So this is before the liquid evaporates, which is at 250, and the mass is 350 grams, and after liquid evaporates is 242 and the mass is 343 grams. So what is the density of the liquid? So first we will calculate the change in mass, which is m1 starting mass minus the end mass, which is 350 minus 343, which will be over here 7. And then the volume, which is at 250 at starting minus the ending mass volume, which is 242. So which will be 250 minus 242, which will be 8 centimeter cube. So we will calculate the density, which is D is equal to mass divided by volume. Mass is 7 divided by volume, which is 8. So this will be 0.875 grams per centimeter cube. So A will be the correct answer for question 6. Then question 7 states a student sits on a rubber ball and bounces up and down on the ground. What stays the same when the ball hits the ground? The acceleration of the ball, wrong because it's changing constantly. Then the B is the mass of the ball, which is correct because the mass of the ball including the boy is the same at all times, so this will be the same. And then C is the shape of the ball, which is wrong because as it is a rubber ball, so its shape will change constantly when it hits the ground. Then D is the velocity of the ball, which is also wrong because it's moving from positive to negative. So B will be the correct answer. Then question 8 states the diagram shows different objects, each being acted upon by only the two forces shown. Which object is in equilibrium? So over here 3 Newton is exerted on the top and 3 on the bottom from left side, and over here from left side it's exerted 3 newtons, and from right side 3 newtons from bottom. So this will rotate the object in clockwise. Then at B it's 4 Newton in the middle towards the right, and over here 4 newtons is being pulled towards the right, so this will move the object towards the right. Then at C 5 newtons is exerted in the middle of the object towards downwards, and from downwards 5 newtons is exerted upwards. So this is constant or equilibrium, so C will be the correct answer. Then over here 4 is exerted downwards and 5 exerted upwards, so over here the object will move upwards, so C will be the correct answer for question 8. Then question 9 states the diagram shows a hydroelectric system. So over here we have the reservoir, then water moves downwards towards the power station. So the question states what are the main energy changes taking place. So first, from the reservoir, the energy stored in the water in reservoir is gravitational potential energy. Then it moves through the pipe, which is then converted into kinetic energy as it is moving downwards. So from gravitational potential energy into kinetic energy, and then in power station the water energy is kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy. So from gravitational energy to kinetic energy and then into electrical energy. So C will be the correct answer for question 9. Question 10 states a car moves along a level road at constant speed. Work is done by the engine and power is developed by the engine. Which pair of the graph shows how the work done and the power developed vary with time? So over here first it states work is done by the engine and power is developed by the engine. So first, as the power is being developed by the engine and the work is done by the engine, so the work done will be increasing constantly as it will keep the car moving at a constant speed in a straight line on a level road, whereas the power will be constant at all time, which is straight equilibrium line towards the right. So A will be the correct answer because work done is increasing constantly at over time, but the power is constant over here. So A will be the correct answer for question 10. Then question 11 states a mercury manometer is used to measure the pressure difference. The difference is shown by the levels X and Y in the diagram. So here we have the mercury manometer with a ruler. So what is the pressure difference presented by X and Y? First is A, which is 5 millimeter of mercury, which is wrong because it is the difference is calculated between X and Y. So over here it is 95 and over here it is 5. So B is 50 millimeter of mercury, which is also wrong because it is 95 and 90 millimeters. So C will be the correct answer because it is 90 millimeter of mercury. So C will be the correct answer, and D, which is 95, in which they did not subtract the value of X, which is 5 millimeters. So question answer C will be the correct answer for question 11. Then question 12 states the diagram shows actual size of the heel of 4 different ladies' shoes as seen from underneath the shoe. Which heel is most likely to cause damage to the floors? A, because it has less surface area as compared to B, C and D, and this will cause more damage to the floors. So A will be the correct answer as surface area is small, so the pressure exerted will be greater than all these 3 others. So A will be the correct answer for question 12. Question 13 states which state diagram best shows the path of a gas molecule. So in A it is moving in a straight line over here. It hits over here, then over here. So this is wrong because it moves in zigzag motion. Then in B it's moving in circles, which is also wrong. Then in question C it is moving in zigzags but downwards, which is also wrong. And in D it is moving in opposite direction. First it hits over here, then downwards, then upwards. So D will be the correct answer for question 13. Then question 14 states a gas storage tank has a fixed volume. The diagram shows how the temperature of the gas in the tank varies with time. At time Y the gas molecules are closer together than at time X, which is wrong because it's in a fixed volume, so that this will not create the gas molecules to be closer together than at time x. Then part answer C states hitting the side of the tank harder than at time x because this will increase the velocity of the gas molecules over time from point x to point y. Then C is larger in size than at time x, which is wrong because the temperature is increasing, but gas molecule does not increase in size, but they move faster as temperature increase, which is so question answer C is wrong. Then answer D is moving more slowly than at time x because as the temperature is increasing, gas molecules will move faster instead of slowing down. So B will be the correct answer for question 14. Then question 15 states the diagram show 4 blocks of steel. The blocks are all drawn to the same scale. The same quantity of thermal energy is given to each block. Which block shows the greatest rise in temperature? So over here we have, this is the smallest block and this is the largest block. So the smaller the surface area, the more thermal energy it will absorb. So this block will absorb the greatest energy as compared to other three. So A will be the correct answer as it has less surface area and it has less volume, so it will absorb more heat. It will absorb heat more quickly as compared to other three. So A will be the correct answer for question 15. Then 16 states a mercury thermometer with no scale is taped to a ruler as shown. When the thermometer is placed in steam, the mercury level rises to 22 centimeter. When the thermometer is placed in pure melting ice, the mercury level falls to 2 centimeter. Which temperature is shown by the mercury level in the diagram? So over here it is at 8 degrees and the thermometer is placed, when the thermometer is placed in melting ice, it is at 2 centimeter. So at 2 centimeter it is at 0, whereas at 22 centimeter it is at 100 degrees. So we write 20, which is difference between 22 minus 2, which is 20, at which it is 100 degrees, and at 6 degrees because over here at 2 degrees it is 0 degrees. So we will subtract 8 minus 2, which is 6, and over here we will mark x. So x is equal to 6 multiplied by 100 divided by 20, which will be 30 degrees. So the mercury level in the diagram is 30 degrees. So we'll circle answer C as our correct answer for question 16. Question 17 states which statement about the transfer of thermal energy is correct. Convection can occur in air but only when air is trapped, which is wrong. Then B is convection can only occur in gas, which is also wrong. Radiation cannot occur in air, which is wrong because it occurs in air. It occurs in air. Then in D, radiation can occur in vacuum but convection cannot. So over here by mistake I said radiation can occur in air, which is also wrong because in air only convection can occur but radiation cannot occur in air. So D is radiation can occur in volume but convection cannot. So D will be the correct answer for 17. Then question 18 states the diagram shows a refrigerator. The cooling unit is placed at the top. The cooling unit cools the air near it. So what happens to the density of the air as it cools and how does it move? So as the density of the air increases, which is C and D, and the movement of air is it moves downwards. So C will be the correct answer because as the density increases, the air particles become heavy and so it will move downwards towards the bottom of the refrigerator. So the movement of the air is moves down. So C will be the correct answer for question 18. Then question 19 states diagram shows the surface of water in a ripple tank. A wave is traveling in the direction of the arrow towards a gap in a barrier. So these are the wave fronts and it is moving through the barrier. So what happens to the wave as it passes through the gap, and what happens to the shape of the wave fronts after passing through the gap? So what happens at the gap is diffraction, because the whole waves will be diffracted, and here we will write diffraction, and then shape of the passing through the gap is curved, because as it is a small gap between the barrier, so the whole wave fronts will be in curves instead of the edges being only a bend at a slight bend. So it will happen like this instead of like this. So the shape after passing through the gap will be curved, and what happens at the gap is diffraction. So A will be the correct answer for question 19. Then question 20 states the diagram represents a wave. So how many wave fronts are there between x and y? So from here it starts over here till 1, and then over here it's a half, so it will be 1.5. So we will circle answer C as our correct answer for question 20. Then question 21 states which group of electromagnetic radiations is arranged in order of increasing frequency. So first one will be the infrared waves, then second is visible light, and third is ultraviolet. X-rays are Y-rays are the most highest frequency, so this is wrong in the order. And then over here C, ultraviolet is also has higher frequency as compared to visible light, so C will be also wrong. And then in D it is X-rays, radio waves, and Y-rays, which are also wrong because X-rays has higher frequency as compared to radio waves. So answer A will be correct for question 21. Question 22 states an electronic engineer makes devices which can receive television pictures from satellites. Which type of electromagnetic radiation must these devices be able to receive? Infrared waves, because this is wrong because it is electromagnetic waves radiation and it receives television pictures from satellites. So infrared waves will be wrong. And then B is microwaves, which is correct because it receives microwaves from the satellite, so B will be the correct answer. And then C is radio waves, which is not used to receive television pictures. It will only receive voice from the satellites. And then D is ultraviolet waves, so which is also wrong, so B will be the correct answer for question 21. Then question 23 states which diagram correctly represents rays of light passing through a converging lens in a camera. So first one over here, if here is the object, so over here the top one will be at the bottom in the image of the camera, and the bottom of the object will be at the top of the camera, so this is correct. And then at B, over here the object will be upright position and at same size in the image as in the real life, so B will be the correct will be wrong. And then C is over here, the object will be inverted but it will be larger than the original object in the image, so C will be also wrong. And over here in D, the object will be upright in the image but it will be smaller as in the real life, so D will also be the wrong answer, so answer A will be the correct answer for question 23. Question 24 states a tuning fork is marked with the number 320. This indicates the size of frequency. What does this mean? The length of tuning fork is 320 mm, which is wrong. It indicates the size of frequency, not the length of the tuning fork. Then B is the note from the tuning fork will last up to 320 seconds, which is also wrong because it is the frequency rate, not the time period. Then C is the sound wave produced by the tuning fork travel at 320 meters per second, which is also wrong. And then D is the tuning fork vibrates 320 times per every second, so The turning fork produces 320 vibrates to 320 times every second. So D will be the correct answer for question 24. Then question 25 states some sound from a loudspeaker at P travel directly to Q. Sound also reaches Q after a long time after being reflected from a wall at R. So the speed of sound is 330 meters per second. What is the difference in time for the sound to travel from P to Q by the two roads? So over here we will write, here it is 8 meters and 8 meters, and over here it's 10. So the speed of sound is 330 seconds, and over here it takes, the distance is 8 plus 8 is 16, and over here it's 10 meters. So the difference in time is, we will write difference in distance, which is 6 meters, divided by the speed, which is 330, and this will calculate the time difference for the sound to travel from P to Q by the two routes. So A will be the correct answer for question 25. Then question 26 states an electromagnet is used to separate magnetic metals from non-magnetic metals. Why is steel not suitable as the core of the electromagnet? Because it forms a permanent magnet. Because when the steel is turned into is used as an electromagnet, as a core of electromagnet, it forms a permanent magnet, so it cannot be turned into a non-magnetic metal again. So A will be the correct answer for question 26. Question 21 states an old and expensive steel watch becomes magnetized. The owner wants to use the watch again. He must demagnetize the watch. What is the best method to do this? So first is heat it until it glows red hot, which is wrong because this will not demagnetize the watch. Second is pass direct current through it, which is also wrong because this will keep the watch magnetized. And then C is place it in a plastic bag and put the bag in hot water for several hours. This will also not make the watch demagnetize. And D is place it in a solenoid that carries alternating current and then slowly remove it, which is correct because when it's placed in the solenoid, the watch will demagnetize, and when you remove it slowly, it will stay demagnetized as the alternative current is being carried out. So D will be the correct answer for question 27. Then question 28 states these three charged balls P, Q, and R are suspended by insulating threads. Ball P is negative charged. Ball Q is brought close to the P. Ball Q is now brought close to the ball R. So what is the charges on the ball Q and ball R? So when ball P is negative, then ball Q is repelled from P. This means that P and Q have same charge. So Q have negative charge, and then when Q is brought close to R, it is attracted. So R has a positive charge. So C will be the correct answer for question 28. Then question 29 states which group contains only good electrical conductors. So air, carbon, or graphite and plastic. Air is not a good electrical conductor, but carbon or graphite is a good, but plastic is not. So carbon is correct and air and plastic is wrong, so A is not correct. Then B is air, gold and mercury, which is also wrong because air is not a good conductor, gold is not a good conductor, and mercury is a good conductor. And then C is carbon, graphite, copper and mercury, which is correct because carbon carries electricity, electric current, and copper and mercury also carry. So C will be the correct answer for 29. Whereas in D, it's copper, gold and plastic. Gold does not carry current and plastic doesn't, but copper does. So D is also wrong. So C will be the correct answer for question 29. Then question 30 states a student investigates a circuit that enters two parallel resistors. The circuit includes meters R, S and T, which are all connected correctly. Which type of meter are R, S and T? So over here are two resistors, and after these two resistors we have these two, which is S and T. So S and T are a meter, and then over here it is at the end, so this will also be a meter, because in voltmeter should be placed separately from the circuit. So over here these three meters are ammeters, so answer A will be the correct answer for question 30. Then question 31 states a circuit contains the component shown by the following symbol. Which change would the component detect? A change in temperature, because it is a resistor, so it change in temperature will cause the component to detect and reduce or increase the electrons through the circuit. So D will be the correct answer for question 31. Question 32 states the family shows a circuit which includes a switch and a capacitor. This is a switch and a capacitor with a whole diagram. What happens to the capacitor when the switch is at P and when it is at Q? So switch at P. When it is at P, it will pass through the resistor, and so the capacitor is discharging because it is not receiving any charge. So when the switch is at P, it is discharging, whereas at switch Q it completes the whole circuit, so it is passing through the capacitor, so capacitor will be charging. So at P it is discharging, whereas at Q it is charging. So C will be the correct answer for question 32. Then the question 33 states the circuit diagram shows a cell connected to three identical lamps X, Y, and Z. All the lamps are lit. Lamp Y is removed by unscrewing it from the holder. So when the lamp Y is unscrewed from its holder, what happens to lamp Z? So it becomes dimmer but stays lit. Why? Because most of the energy is electrons are moving through the Y instead of X. So this will make the bulb Z more brighter, whereas when bulb Y is moved, Z will become dimmer, and so it will this will become dimmer but it stays lit. So B will be the correct answer for question 33. Question 34 states each branch of a domestic circuit often includes a circuit breaker. This protects the wiring if too much current flows into the circuit. In which wire is the circuit breaker placed and what does it do when it operates? Circuit breaker it is placed in live wire, and what's the purpose? It disconnects the circuit when high voltage is passed through the circuit. Then second is B is circuit breaker in live wire, which are also correct, but when the circuit breaker operates it reduces the current to a safe value, which is wrong because it disconnects the wire cable because of high voltage. So A will be the correct answer for question 34. Then question 35 states a student wants to make a transformer to step 12 volts down to 6 volts. She winds 60 turns of wire around an iron core as shown in the diagram. Here she has winded 60 turns, whereas over here it is not identified. How many turns of wire should she wind in the secondary coil of her transformer? So the value of 1 volt is halved from 12 volts to 6 volt, which is half of 12. And over here, if it is 60 turns, then over here it will be 30 turns. So B will be the correct answer for question 35. Then question 36 states a toy railway engine is driven around a track by a DC electric motor. How can the speed of the motor be increased? First is use a motor made with fewer turns of wire, which is wrong. This will not increase the speed, this will decrease the speed. Use a smaller DC voltage, which is also wrong because this will decrease the speed. And then C is use a stronger magnet in the motor, which is correct because a stronger magnet will increase the speed of the motor, and so it will be driven faster around the track. So C will be the correct answer for question 36. Then question 37 states a diagram shows an experiment to demonstrate electromagnetic induction. So this is a diagram, and X and Y are joined in turn by 4 wires each made to a different material. Each wire is then moved quickly downwards towards the magnet. Which material will not give a rise to an induced current in the wire? First is aluminum. This is correct because it will give a rise to induced current. Then B is copper, which is also correct because it is a magnetic material. Then C is iron because it is also a magnetic material, whereas D, which is nylon, and it's a third type, so this will not conduct electric current. So D will be the correct answer for question 37. Then question 38 states a beam of cathode rays pass between the two charged metal plates. What happens to the beam as it passes between the plates? So cathode rays are negatively charged, so A states it is deflected into the paper, which is wrong. Then B is it is deflected out of the paper, which is also wrong because as it is negatively charged, it will move either towards positive or negative. Then C is it is deflected towards the negative plate, which is also wrong because as it is a negative particle, negatively charged, so it will, instead of moving towards the negative plate, it will repel from negative plate and move towards the positive plate. And then in D, it is deflected towards the positive plate, which is correct because as it is negatively charged, it will move towards the positive plate. So C will be the correct answer for question 38. Question 39 states a radiation detector is placed close to a source of beta particles. Aluminum sheet of increasing thickness are placed between the source and the detector. Here is a source of beta particles with aluminum sheet and a detector. Eventually, a sheet which is 2 centimeter thick is used. The reading of the detector decreases but does not fall to zero. Why does the reading not fall to zero? Because first is some of the beta particles go around the edge of the sheet, which is wrong because it will only travel in a straight line. Then B is the detector is too close to the source, which is also wrong because it is placed far away from the beta particles, a source of beta particles, and an aluminum sheet in between both of these objects. Then in C, there is always some background radiation, which is also correct because apart from the source of beta particles, there are some other radiation coming from the surroundings. So that will be always some background radiation. So C will be the correct. Whereas D is the sheet can never be thick enough to absorb all the beta particles, which is wrong because it does. It absorbs all the beta particles in the aluminum sheet. So C will be the correct answer for question 39. Then question 40 states a nuclide is represented by the notation shown. So here it is X, P, and Q. How many nucleons are there in one atom of this nuclide? How many nucleons are there in one atom of the nuclide? So over here this is the total numbers and here it is nucleon number. So P will be the correct answer for question 40. So we'll circle answer A as the correct answer for question 40.